Indie Beacon Radio with hostess Dr. Keitha Story-Stephenson. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Welcome. My name is Dr. Keitha, and I have the honor and privilege tonight to be with one of our new writers, our writers on the Indie Lecture Series. Her name is Roxanne Gail Hodge. She's out of Dallas, and we're just excited to have her. So without any further ado, welcome, Roxanne.
Hi, thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
It is our honor and privilege that you're here, so thank you very much. Could you do me a favor? Could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
I'm at one of those Air Force brats that you hear about all the time, and I grew up in a large family. I do love books, and that's because they became my friends when I was a kid. We moved, and I found that books always went with me, whereas I had to leave my friends behind. So I spent a lot of hours reading books and just loved all kinds of books.
I understand. My dad was a nuclear engineer, and we went all over the country too. So books become that favorite friend that can go from place to place to take you place to place. You mentioned you had a large family. If I recall correctly, you had 2 brothers, 2 sisters?
Yes. I have...
No, go ahead.
I have a brother and a sister living at this time, but there were 6 kids altogether, and 4 lived at a time. So we were a large family, and it was pretty interesting. We shared, I remember one time all 3 of us girls were sharing one little bitty bedroom, and we had twin beds and a trundle that we pulled out. So we had wall-to-wall beds, and we jumped from bed to bed at bedtime. So it was fun.
There you go. So you had a built-in fan club, so to speak. Were you considering or excited about the possibility of being a writer even as a child?
I never thought about being a writer as a child because I like to read. But when I started, mainly in college, I learned I really loved to write. I did some writing in journaling. I started journaling, and that's where my creativity came out, because as I journaled, other things came out, and I just thought, this is neat. This is fun. So I went from there to thinking about, my brother was in seminary, and so the very first thing was I was going to write a book about seminary, and I interviewed seminary wives to find out how they managed and everything. That never came to fruition, but I always had in the back of my mind that that's what I wanted to do. I became a single parent, which was kind of hard to do anything but work and raise my daughters.
Well, the reason I like to ask questions like this is because I want our listeners to realize that writers come from all walks of life and all the experiences that they have.
Right. In fact, the more experience you have, I think the better writer you have, because it gives you a broader spectrum, and you can bring in more of your audience. You understand. There.
There he is.
Is he back?
Yeah, hi. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. The Wi-Fi just dropped on me. So we're going to have to start from the very beginning and go at it. I apologize for that. Unfortunately, technology does do that at times. So,
You mean everything I said, I have to start all over?
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yes.
But you were doing so well. So we'll do.
right,
13.
so whenever you're ready, Dr. Keitha, go ahead and start again.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay. Hi, I'm Dr. Keitha, and I'm so excited to have with me my guest for this evening. Her name is Roxanne Gail Hodge. She's out of Dallas. She is a writer who has a very interesting book, a very intriguing book, which we'll get to in a moment. But let's find out something about her first. First, I welcome you to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, even though we're in a
Tell me.
pandemic.
We're in a pandemic and we're working right through it, aren't we?
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about you.
Hi, I am an Air Force brat, and I grew up in a large family because back then, that's what you did. You grew up in a large family. I had there were 6 kids, 3 boys and 3 girls. And right now I've got my brother and sister still with me, and they're still very much supportive of me. I'm a single parent, and I got 2 daughters that are grown and 4 grandkids. So
Congratulations.
I've had quite a journey. Thank you. Thank you. And being in the Air Force, we traveled all over the place.
I do understand. I was raised by a nuclear engineer who traveled all over the place, putting power stations in place. So sometimes it's hard to hold on to the short-term friends because you're going to be leaving them. But for me, the long-term friends became my books. Did you find that to be your venture?
That's exactly right. That's where I started to love books. The very minute I started reading, I was so excited, and I always couldn't wait to be called on to read. I was an avid reader, and I always liked to interject and put expression and that kind of stuff. Books are just wonderful because you can make them come alive, and I was able to, in my mind, make them come alive. It was just great. And I took them with me wherever I went.
Well, they're the friends that you can pack in the suitcase and take to the next place for sure.
That's right. And I was able to read books over and over again.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I understand that feeling. Who do you consider a part of your support team now as an author?
I have my daughters support me tremendously. I have, and my grandchildren do too. They actually are kind of excited they have an author for a grandmother. I have some supporters, and I'm a member of a group, a networking group for authors, for independent, well, any kind of author. And they have been extremely supportive in getting me out of the chair into the market because it was so hard to get it out there. I did revise this book so many times, and finally they just said, Roxanne, you just got to do it.
Very good. Well, I want our viewers to understand that writers come from all places with all experiences, and that's what makes us the teller of stories. Can you tell me what you think is the hardest thing it is about being an author?
The hardest thing about being an author is organizing everything I want to say. I have a lot to say. When I sit down and start writing, I just kind of like regurgitate all these words, and one idea leads to another. And so the very first draft is just a culmination of all kinds of ideas. Oh, yes, that would be great. And actually, the book that I wrote, I started just doodling. And because I was bored at work one day, and I just doodled. And I thought, oh, that would be a great idea for a book. And so I started writing the novel. And
very good.
I like to bring different people in because I like people, and I've studied people, so I know a lot about behavioral and people are just great.
What was the occupation you were in before you went to full-time writing?
I call myself a flunky, but basically I was in customer service. The last few years I worked for insurance companies, United Healthcare, Medco, that kind of stuff. I was in customer service. So we were pretty on the phone all the time.
Right, communicating.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Well, then this is a natural extension for you. What's the easiest thing about being an author?
Writing. The hardest thing is compiling it to where it makes sense to other people. Writing is my expression when I need to, that's how I process, is by writing. I don't do a lot verbally. I write. I started writing journaling. That's how I started writing. And that's how I found that it was cathartic and you can do whatever you want with it. I find I learned myself by writing.
Very good, very good. What did you do educationally to prepare yourself to be able to step into this role as an author?
I started college when I was mid-20s. Never could finish because my daughter turned 12. And when you turn 12, you have to be more into their lives than when they were 10. So they interrupted that. But I took writing courses, anything to do about learning how to write, about English. I loved English, literature, reading and analyzing. I'm
Usage in writing, the taking of the reader in not only into the story but into the how do it kind of process. Where did each step turn to create this? So that's awesome. Tell me, well, let's just talk about The Long Road Back. Tell me a little bit about why you chose this suspense, intrigue, kind of a thriller. Why was that your genre?
because I enjoy that. And when I developed the character, Monique, it just kind of flowed. She's an extremely interesting character and she's analytical. And that's because I like analyzing. I think that's probably why I made her analytical. And at the time, I enjoy the CIA intrigue and how they get into the world, what's going on in the world and trying to solve it. I also brought in local authorities because I felt like I like to see people working together. So it was kind of fun to take antagonism and make it into a team, because the FBI and CIA, I have them working together, which is not easy to do. I've done some research on that, and they really are at odds with each other. So I was able to play on that. That was fun.
You created a collective.
Yes.
In mystery solving. So that's
yes.
Awesome. That's very good. Had you done any like magazine writing or any other kind of writings before this? As far
no,
as
I didn't. I'm sorry. I haven't written any articles.
Oh, okay.
I did write an editorial one time that was published.
Very good.
I was so excited.
This is a first-time author. You should be just as excited.
Oh, yes.
What would you say would be some good tips or words of encouragement for a new writer?
I would say that there are as many writers' stories as there are writers. Never be afraid to take what story you have and do something with it. Innovative is wonderful. The beauty of being able to go the independent publishing is that we don't have to rely on an agent who has preconceived ideas of what they want to read or what they think is going to be popular. We can investigate and put out all kinds of things that people never thought about putting down in a book.
Right. You create an alternative world.
Yes, right. And not just what the markets, like on the East and the West Coast, not what they think. In Dallas, we think different than they do. So I can write the way I want to write. You can too. Anybody can write. If you want to do it, just do it.
Roxanne, excuse me, we're going to have to take a break to talk to our sponsors so that we can keep on doing what we do, and we'll be right back.
The 5th Annual Authors Marketing Event is coming to Granbury, Texas, July 24th through the 27th. Join us and learn from the professionals how to properly market and sell yourself and your books. Go to ame.authorsmarketingguild.com for all the details. That's ame.authorsmarketingguild.com.
I'm Rox Berkey.
And I'm Charles Brakefield. We're award-winning co-authors, Brakefield and Berkey, of the Enigma book series. There are 10 books in the series, with book number 11 planned for release in January 2020.
Each story has a central technology focus ranging from identity theft to cryptocurrency and now AI wars. These adult techno thrillers pit cyber good guys against cyber thugs across the darknet.
In our world, technology is today's weapon of choice. You can enjoy ebook format, paper, or Audible. We want your feedback.
Until the next story, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Randy James, independent voiceover producer in the Dallas, Texas area, available to write and record a 30-second commercial, much like the one you're hearing right now. It's a great way to help increase awareness and exposure to your book title. It's easy to do. Simply call me and we'll brainstorm on a few ideas, and in a few hours, I'll whip something up and send you a digital file ready to use. Remember, call or text me, Randy James, at 214-762-1942.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
All right, we're back. Thank you very much for sticking with us and my interview with Roxanne Hodge. I'm so excited because her book is a mystery, it's a thriller, it's intrigue, it's all that wrapped up into one, and then throwing in government agencies and spies. You're going to love it. So as we move forward, I wanted to ask you, Roxanne, those words of encouragement I was mentioning, what do you think is the best thing to tell an author?
A would-be author, just do it. The problem I had is I would start and then I would look online and see everybody that wants to be an author, and I would look at all the books and I would think, who am I to even think that I could do that? Don't go there. You've got just as much right to say and put down on paper your thoughts and your story as anybody else. And there is somebody, and a lot of somebody's out there who will be intrigued with what you've got to say. So just do it. That's like the advertisement, Nike advertisement. Just do it.
Just do it.
That's right.
You can't edit and you can't publish something you haven't written. So just get it out on paper. Exactly.
And the more you get into it, the more fun you'll have. Just have fun with it. Don't get tied up in technical stuff to begin with. Get your ideas out there.
I understand you have some new exciting things on the horizon. Are you want to tell me a little bit about that poetry, those children's stories?
I do have a poetry book that's closer to fruition, and I'm excited about that. My poetry is inspirational. It's not, there's no secret. You don't have to really analyze it so much, but it's emotional provoking. And my children's book, I actually was a caretaker when I retired. I was semi-retired and was a caretaker and had an Alzheimer's patient. And she kept saying, oh, I always wanted to write a book. So one day we sat down and collaborated on 2 children's books. And so 2 of my children's books are that. And the other ones where I wrote for my grandchildren. So I'm kind of working those in.
Excellent, excellent. And how old are those grandchildren?
I have 4. I've got one that's 6, 2 8-year-old girls, and a 13-year-old boy.
Oh, so you're going to be writing
2 boys and 2 girls.
Young adult all the way down to child.
Yes.
You'll have your hands full. Everybody
Okay.
will need their own private book.
Yes, yes. Well, they practically do. I wrote a book.
Good.
I wrote a book and put up some names, and my granddaughter said, "Oh, you need to change my name. You need to put my name in there."
How arduous was the task of compiling your research, your background, your own personal experiences into writing the long road back?
I started writing in 2015, so this is 2020. I published the end of last year, so 4 years. The book, half the book came out, and then I stopped because I went through some health issues. And then I picked it back up again. And then when I retired in 2017, that's when I really started putting everything together and editing and redoing.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, I know you're retired. Are you doing this full time? Are you writing part time when it's convenient, that kind of thing?
I currently, because of the health issues, lost everything. So I had to move in with my daughter, and she's got my granddaughter. So she's single. She works full time. So I do a lot of caretaking of my granddaughter and I'm doing the homeschooling with her. So writing is basically part-time because she's at 8 years old, she's interesting. It's a challenge.
She needs her focus too, doesn't she?
That's right. Now she is extremely innovative herself.
Tell me, do you have, I've heard through the grapevine you have the possibility of a follow-up to The Long Road Back. Is this something you're plotting out now?
I am plotting kind of, because several people that's read the book, they say, okay, when's the sequel coming out? They were so excited about it. And I thought, well, okay, I guess I'll work on a sequel. So I asked them what characters they liked. And so I'm going to bring some of the same characters in, kind of change a little bit the focus, because not so much international. I'm going to try to bring it back national. So I'm making some changes, but I do have some ideas.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, it sounds like something well worth waiting for. Tell me if you could do anything as an author, there were no limits, what would you pursue?
I would pursue, I have so many interests. I want to have several intrigue books like James Patterson. He's got a lot of books out there and I like to read him. So I would like to have a lot of those. I would love to get more inspirational. Encouraging people is really where my passion and heart is. You will find in The Long Road Back, there's still, with the bombings and the murders, there's inspiration and kindness in there. It's an interesting book. It's different than any book I've ever read, so I think you'll really enjoy it. Everybody that's read it has. But that's what I want. I want people to be encouraged that life is okay, and there's always somebody out there. If you have trouble, there's always someone who can bail you out, who can help you out.
Very good. I read a comment about your book online from a reader that read intrigue, suspense, and high thrills on a CIA journey to save the world from DEFCON 5. I thought there's a pretty good, sounds like the plot line and the TV guide, doesn't it, for what you're going to watch tonight? Yeah, and it just hits on all the high points that would make someone captivated by the opportunity to follow the storyline. So I appreciate that. So that's awesome. Okay, what we're looking at now is another sponsor break. And so I want to take a moment to talk to those sponsors or let them talk to us, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jerry Reedy, author of the book Heat in the Vegas Night. The book is a true inside story of a group of sophisticated blackjack players that take large sums of money from Las Vegas, led by one man, the boss, who trained a group of ex-college athletes from the Pacific Northwest to use a mirror to see the dealer's hole card in blackjack. The true story, stranger than fiction, is about casino espionage, teamwork, guts and determination, and courage. Find the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target.
Thank you for watching or listening to Indie Beacon Radio. Our sponsor, IndieLector.store, is the only bookstore that pays authors their fair share for book sales. Help authors to succeed and enjoy a great book by supporting them at IndieLector.store. Enjoy a 10% discount with coupon code SHOPPER20 at IndieLector.store. Coupon valid until December 31st, 2020. That's IndieLector.store, coupon code SHOPPER20.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lector, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to our interview with Miss Roxanne Hodge, a Texas writer who has graced us with her time and her information and her insight on her new book, and on the opportunity of writing itself as a skill. I want to ask her to tell us now, if she could, please. I know that we can find your book through IndieLector.store. I know that it's on Amazon. Can you tell us any other places that it might be available?
Yes, it's also on Barnes & Nobles as ebook and hardback. Lulu is actually where I published it. So you can also go to lulu.com. It's going to be under Roxanne Gail Hodge. That's how I published it. You can find, I have an author website, www.roxannegailhodgebooks.com, and also my Facebook page is Roxanne Gail Hodge Books. So you can find me on Facebook also.
Okay.
And I have a blog, so if you're interested in that, my blog is Aspire to Accept.
I think that's an awesome connection link, a draw to help them find the direction to find it quickly and get some. Isn't it also available on Kindle for download?
Yes, for Kindle and Nook and all the other media stuff. I think even what's that? There's a wholesale book place that you can get it also. Can't remember the name.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting, always interesting to talk to first-time authors and to see the production of the work of their hand and their mind. I just want to encourage you in that endeavor also, because Indie Lecture is strong because it's made up of independent writers, and it's good to have you on the team and have you as a part of that. That's awesome. Very good. Tell me, do you plan to like teach or to go out and do author workshops or anything like that? Anything like that on the horizon?
I would love to be asked to do that. Speaking on a tour has always interested me from the time I was big. I feel like I like to talk.
Don't all authors like to talk? We're full of words. It has to come out.
I know. I always tell my daughter, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I always tell my daughter, I will tell a story, and she says, I would never think about that. And I said, well, I'm an author. I think about things like that, like, walking down a hallway, and I think about the long road to being electrocuted.
There you go. That could be frightening. Frightening. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to meet you and to talk with you tonight and to share you with the listening and the viewing audience. I want to thank you for your contribution to the world of the literary world around us, and the ability to be able to find that and locate it and just find the path that you took to take the long road back. So I thank you. I thank you for your time tonight, and I encourage our readers, our viewers, to just be on the lookout for your book and your information, and watch for that poetry coming out, and watch for those kiddo books. That's how we do. That's what we do. We're all stronger if we support one another. So I just want to thank you, Roxanne, for this time, and I thank you for the opportunity to be able to kickstart this for you in a very positive way.
Appreciate it.
So God bless. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website. Indie Beacon Radio, with hostess Dr. Keitha Story-Stephenson.
Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild, LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B. Allen Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord of Ukraine.